News Talk WJAG, live in the Farmers Pride Studios, downtown River Point, Norfolk, and it's time for your retirement with Insurance 365. Our guests, as always, we have Angela Cradaville and Jay Kenobi. Jay, of course, the owner of the outlet of Insurance 365. A lot of the times here, you guys talk about folks in a retirement aspect, Medicaid, Medicare. You kind of deal with different things as far as retirement goes. Some things that I think Jeffrey's been lacking on, to be honest with you. That, and I told him, I said, you need a week's vacation. Let me handle this week. We do normally do it the third Saturday of every month. I'm just kidding about Jeffrey. But there's so many other things that you guys cover with folks that get a little older. You deal specifically with a lot of folks that are over 65, but any age really, right, Jay?
Yes, it's any age, and I just want to go back to Jeffrey being on vacation. You know, doesn't he work like 5 to 7 hours a week, and now he wants to take a vacation?
Right, I know. What is he doing?
What is he doing? But yes, in all seriousness, we've talked about incomes, and we've talked about long-term care and life insurance and trusts and funeral trusts and Medicare. Today we're going to talk about another aspect of your financial responsibilities, your financial strains, and that is car and home insurance.
Mm-hmm. And people may not realize that's what you're doing, because if you look at the signs on your building, which, by the way, is right across from Burger King on 13th Street in Norfolk, or the empty Applebee's lot, whichever you want to go with, they're right there. Easy to find. Stop on in. What are your hours, Jay?
8 to 5, but it really is about 8 to 7 most nights.
Yeah. Because you're dealing with a lot of people and a lot of different issues. And, you know, one of the aspects is home and car, and you deal with any age, to be honest with you. Don't let the signs fool you on the outside of the building. It's just, but if you are a little older, you are a trusted neighbor here in Northeast Nebraska. I mean, you've been around doing this business forever, right, Jay?
Yeah, it's been 30 years and 21 years in Norfolk. So, yeah, it's 30 years overall, and Angela's been doing this with me for 15 years.
I'm sorry, Angela.
And Adrian's in there doing it for 13, and Kenny's on 6, and Sarah's on years with us, about 3, but she's been in the business for about 10 years. And then Steph has been in the industry as well for 6 or 7 years. So yeah, we try to have a youthful look, but there's a little age behind us.
Especially the balding on this guy over here. Let's get into some of these things right now. Home and car insurance. Let's talk about homes to begin with. You were telling me a story off air how some of those people, when they have roof damage, there might be a situation there. Angela, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so whenever there's hail claims or any kind of claims, we always want to make sure we protect our client. A lot of times when storms come through, we get a lot of storm chasers. What that means is roofers come in and then they're door knocking on your door and they want to fix your roof. So we want to always make sure our clientele understands that we want to find a reputable contractor, because some people we've had, they try to take the money and run and not fix anything, and
or fix it substandard if they even do anything, whatever
Right.
they do, to be honest with you. It's one of those things to where you got to be careful. You need to call, whether you're working with Insurance 365 or not, you need to call your insurance agent and let them know the situation, let them handle it. One of the things I love about you guys, Jay, and we talked about this off air, is, you handle your clientele with kid gloves. You guys are right there walking them through the entire process.
Yep. It's a real easy to understand what the model is according to the media, a transaction. And our office fights that model with every purpose and heart and soul to be a different offering. There's nothing wrong with buying your insurance online, but just expect a different level of service. There's also a different level of service from every company, and an agency has a culture. Our agency culture is to always be small enough to care for those personal details. And when you're talking about somebody, I have roof damage. Okay, first off, most of the times they're going to call and say, "Can you come out and look at it?" And you know how many times I get on roofs and people say, "Wow, you really got on that roof," and yeah. And then we have to look at the gutters, and you have to look at the fascia, and you have to look at the siding, and you have to look at the lawn ornaments, and you have to look at a lot of things and get that customer to understand. Okay, now what happens is I'm not your adjuster, I'm your agent. But I'm going to assign an adjuster, and that adjuster is going to be here next Wednesday at 10, and that adjuster is not from my agency. That's from the company. and they're going to cut a check for actual cash value. And then they're going to ask you to replace, and people right away get lost. So you have to stop and slow down. Those kind of terms lose a 25-year-old. So
I'm lost right now, to be honest with you.
So you really have to take the time and have the personnel in your office that's experienced, have the personnel in your office that's sincere enough to sit down. Sometimes it's over a cup of coffee. Sometimes it's a 7-Up at the coffee island in the house, and just say, let's go through this and help you understand. And what Angela's saying is, so many times the contractors come flying into town, and they promise speed. Well, I don't know how many times I've been through hailstorms in Norfolk. It's been a very wonderful wild weather ride in 20 years.
Yeah.
But we have to slow people down and say, look, this is no rush. You're talking about a $30,000 to $40,000 claim, and you're hearing from a contractor, we're going to get this done fast. Why?
Yeah.
And sometimes they just need to hear that, like from their advisor, us, their ally, us, to say, look, it doesn't matter if we get this roof fixed in a month or a week. Let's get it done right, because this is a big cosmetic damage to your house.
You know, I'll tell you one of the things. I think it goes back to the, what happens when these get rich quick guys come through and try and do roofs or siding or whatever. People are thinking, yeah, I want this done. I need it done. I want my house to look perfect again. Right, Angela?
Right. They want it just back to normal right away.
Yeah, and you can't do that at all. You got to take the time. You got to realize it's okay. It's going to get fixed, and it's going to look great again, but maybe not right now. Let me call my buddy Jay, or let me call Angela or one of the other crew at 365 that I'm dealing with and say, here's what I got going on. I'm not comfortable with this guy. What do we need to do, Jay? What do we need to do, Angela?
Yep. And the papers need to be, sent from the billing of the person who did the work, and that needs to get to the adjuster, and then there needs to be an understanding of time frame of how long to get the check back out. And now today with our wonderful banking laws, sometimes the bank name has to be on there, and then the bank has to cash. And there's a lot goes into this. And people, when you're over 65, let's be honest, you've probably had one claim in your life. They say the average person has 2 claims, homeowners claims in their life. So you've had one when you're 40 years old, and now 40 years later you're having another one. And believe me, the process, the logistics have changed. So we're here to help you out and educate and slow down and get it done correctly.
Take your time with all of this. When you got some sort of claim, don't fall for the sweet-talking, quick-talking folks that come to your door and want to help you out, supposedly. You need to call your friends at Insurance 365 first. Speaking of that, their number is 371-3136. They're on the web at insuranceenagency365.com, or you can just stop by, again, right on 13th Street, right across from Burger King, across from the old Applebee's. You can stop in anytime during the business hours, 8 in the morning till 5-ish, we'll say, or just call and make an appointment. I gave you the number. We'll go through that later in the program. Homes are on the mind, and sometimes when people get a little older, they become snowbirds and they have second homes, right, Angela?
That's correct. So you just want to make sure you have the proper coverage. If you're going to live there half of the time, it's still a homeowner's policy, but we want to make sure that you have everything that you need, like pipe breaks. Like if you're gone and something fails, you want to make sure you have the proper coverage.
Yeah, because that home's going to sit vacant for a while.
Yeah, and there's endorsements, there's riders, there's things to add that you want to consult with and say, okay, honestly, I leave, December 15th. My wife and I come back April 1st. What needs to be on my homeowner's policy to make sure water damage, vandalism, those come to mind real quick, and just a heads up, being, if they're going to be gone. We've had that happen where something happens in town, like a hailstorm, and I say, oh, that's right. Billy Wolf, I remember he said he was going to be gone for the next 2 months. I'm going to contact Billy down in Texas and say, hey, I went over and looked at your house and you have damage. Those kind of relationships and allies bring such value. And that's why our agency model and our culture is to be sincere. And that's a fight. When you watch, just watch Billy, any advertisement on insurance on TV. Zero relationship.
Oh, exactly.
It's
Yeah.
all humor now, and it's ha ha ha. And, this happened. Remember me because I'm cool or funky with music or
Look, I'm a gecko.
Yeah,
Buy for
yeah.
me.
And I always think, boy, that's the dumbest thing in the world. Honestly, you got a house, which is your biggest asset. It can burn to the ground, and you're with a cool insurance company. Who cares when your house burns down if it was a cool insurance company? I want a great insurance company that is about a contract, not about an image.
Yeah, somebody that's going to be there for you. As Jay said, they're handling your personal life, your items, your cars, your home, whatever it may be, with the personal touch. And if they know that you're going to be gone, it's always good to let your insurance agents know that you are going to be gone maybe for a while, and that way they know. And that way, like Jay said, they might take a run by your home, just kind of check it periodically while you're going to be gone, say 3 months, 4 months, whatever it is. That second home. That home that you're normally living in for a majority of the year sits vacant. You got to have some stuff done to it. You got to be prepared. Otherwise, bad things can happen, and you don't want to be left with extra money out of your pocket that you can't afford. Right, Angela?
That's correct.
Yeah. Another thing here, real quick, in this segment, I want to talk about is with the renters, a different kind of home situation. Let's use the Meadows as an example, Jay.
Yep. So you go to a second place to live. And it's not a nursing home. It's not an assisted living. Do you still need coverage? And some people will say, well, I surely don't need liability coverage. And personal belongings kind of makes sense. I downsized, but I moved to like the Meadows. Mm-hmm. Should I have renter's insurance? And renter's insurance is about $120 a year.
Yeah, exactly.
A year. Okay. And with it comes liability. So let's say I had this story actually yesterday. One of my customers went to see her father, and she said, Dad, why is the oven on? You must have just, did you the pan, the sauteing pan,
right.
The burner is the word I'm looking for. She said, did you just finish breakfast? And he says, no. And she said, why is the burner on? He says, I leave it on all day. That's what he told her.
Oh, my goodness.
And she goes, that's not good. And he's like, I just leave it on. And so that's a liability.
Yeah.
Those are things that people don't realize. You're still independently living. You're functioning. What if that place, a fire is started by your negligence? Well, you're liable. Why wouldn't you have a renter's policy for $120 a year and have liability included for $500,000? If the place burns down, at least you're going to your insurance company and saying, I was responsible for that. Mm-hmm. Here's $500,000 to get things going.
Yeah.
Rather than say, I canceled my homeowners. I don't have renter's insurance. I just moved here. Well, so renter's insurance is for liability, personal property. Sometimes things, personal property is damaged. Whose insurance do you chase? Do you chase the Meadows insurance? Do you chase the neighbor who started the fire and now your clothes are all smoke damaged because you were next door or across the hall? And people don't think about this. They don't just, renter's insurance is cheap, and you should at least have that. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying if you're in a nursing home, I'm not saying that's a different case.
All right.
But for those senior living areas, and we see a lot of commercials on that. Call me, I'm a realtor for senior living stuff. Those kind of places. Condos you get into a lot. You have to know, are we insuring the structure, or are we insuring the personal belongings?
And what if your condo is connected to somebody else and something happens?
Exactly. There's always a common wall, isn't there?
Yeah. Always.
So things you just may not always think about, and what we see a lot with people as they get older is they just, when it comes to auto and home, hey, I've had it with this person, and it's all okay. Well, I would encourage you to sit down with that person and just, and I'm not saying you have to come talk to us.
I am.
But I would encourage you to sit down and say what's going on.
I know that you guys are very in-depth with your customers. You guys do have a nice small office. You guys are locally owned and operated. You guys are right here in the backyard in Norfolk. And I don't know why people wouldn't come to you. At least, I think it's always good to shop around every so often and kind of get some different ideas, different numbers from folks, see what is out there, what you should be doing, to see what they say compared to who your current agents are. I would encourage you to see Insurance 365. They're on 13th Street in Norfolk. Angela, anything else here with the renters that you want to add in real quick?
Well, Well, with renters insurance, homeowners, and auto, we have 39 carriers. So, when you say shop around, we can shop around for a client in-house,
Yeah.
with multiple different options.
Yeah.
So that's
you
really
guys,
cool.
yeah, I know that from, hearing the previous programs with you guys that you are an agent that has so much access to different outlets that people can just come to you. It's a one-stop shop, if you will.
Correct.
You guys are there, and you guys are going to put that personal touch on everything you do. That's why we love Insurance 365. We do it here for you to give the information. The third Saturday every month is about your retirement, your life. Today we're talking home and auto, and we're going to take a break, and we'll come back with more with Jay Kenobi and Angela Cradaville here on WJAG. WJAG. Welcome back to Your Retirement on WJAG with Insurance 365. They're on 13th Street in Norfolk, right across from Burger King. Also, the old Applebee's there. They're on the web at insuranceagency365.com. You can always give them a call at 371-3136. They're there for you 8 to 5, sometimes a little later. Just call, maybe make an appointment, and they'll spend some time with you. We talked about a lot of home-related insurance this last segment. Let's talk about autos this segment, Jay. That is kind of, we were talking off air a little bit. It can be a little scary with what some people have down for their numbers for their insurance coverage for a vehicle. Absolutely.
And the number I look at the most often is the liability. Liability is the one thing that can really put a detriment in your financial issue. If you wreck your car, Billy, okay, it's not going to bankrupt you. But if you injure, kill, or disable somebody, your limits of liability come straight to the top. And limits of liability, keep in mind, the state limit, the state of Nebraska, and I disagree with this, but the state of Nebraska says to drive a vehicle, as long as you purchase $25,000 of coverage, you're legal.
Wow.
$25,000.
I did not know that even.
So Colorado's 10. So if you purchase $25,000, you're good to go on the road. And what you see is the commercials, we can save you money, we can save you money, we can save you money. Well, yeah. You take someone, the average consumer, okay, the most common thing you see, most common limitation is called 100, 300, 100. So that means $100,000 per person, $300,000 for the whole accident, and $100,000 of property damage. So per person, $100,000. So we see that in a lot of people around the area. They have $100,000, which is way better than 25.
Right. Oh, yeah.
But Billy, let's just say I kill you. Okay. So I'm driving down the road and I fall asleep. The sun's in my eyes. I'm speeding. I did something to make this accident happen. You were on a bicycle. You were out for a jog. Maybe you were in the other car. Okay. But I did it. Okay. Your wife, because I injured you in the rest of your life, you have right knee pain, or you have shoulder pain, or you have ringing in your ears, or you have surgeries, or you have dental work, or you have physical therapy, or you died.
Yeah.
What's your wife going to sue me for?
Everything you got.
Yeah. And people out there, well, I have insurance. And I always go back to the old Toy Story movie, To Infinity and Beyond. The insurance is not to infinity and beyond. It's a contract.
Yeah.
You have $100,000. So the insurance company, their defense, their payout is going to be $100,000. So let's say you have money in the bank, money in a 401k, money in an IRA, money in property. Now you're completely exposing all of that because the insurance company wrote the check for $100 and walked away, and your wife sued me for your life value.
Right.
I mean, you're a successful radio man making killer money.
$6.75 an hour, people. Steak dinners on me in 3 months.
So it goes into that though. What is your income? How many years of marriage? How many children? My life value today is much different than my life value was 10 years ago. I have no children anymore in my house. They still become occasional parasites and want money, right. But they're not in my home. Okay? So my life value changes. Angela has 3 kids under the age of 10 in her house. Of course, her husband is going to say her life value is way high.
Yeah.
So when you look at car insurance, you have to start to understand, is this what I need? And it's hard for people because the question you have to ask them is, what are you worth? I mean, if you're worth $1 million, you probably should have $1 million of liability.
Yeah, for sure.
But what we'll see is, well, I have a net worth. If you add up my stuff at the bank and you add up this and you add up that, oh, you have $1 million. And your car insurance with the other guy is $100,000. Do you feel like you're protecting?
Mm-hmm.
And liability, Billy, is the big one. It's like I said, you can replace a car, but to replace a life or to injure someone from your negligence, and they're injured the rest of their life, knees, shoulders, migraines,
back.
Yeah. Back. How subjective is that one? Yeah. Back injuries.
Neck injuries. I mean, it just
it just goes on and on.
Yeah.
And you just have to understand, insurance, you're the one that's signing the contract. You're the one so is the cheapest car insurance the best? What they probably did was just lowered your liability.
Right, exactly. I mean, you hear that coming out of your mouth, and it just makes total sense. Now, Angela, when you're dealing with somebody like this for some sort of car coverage, what do you see on average people getting with you, and how many outlets do you have to go to for different kinds of insurance?
Yeah, so like I said before, we have about 39 companies we can shop it out. We like to have our clients at least at $250,500 plus $1 million umbrella policy over top, because anymore today's world, everybody's so happy, and you don't want to see all your life savings that you've worked hard for be gone in the blink of an eye.
She said the word umbrella. Do you want to go into that?
Oh, yes, yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Sorry,
It's not raining. It's not that one.
Yeah.
Gotcha, girl.
So you can purchase, it's called a personal umbrella policy. Basically, it would give you $1 million on top, $1 million liability on top of what your home and also your auto. So if you kill somebody, injure somebody, if they exceed the limits of your liability on your auto insurance, the umbrella policy will take over and give you a cushion of $1 million extra.
Now, when you're asking somebody to maybe consider that umbrella policy, what is that based on for people paying that? I mean, is it based on their income? How does that work?
No, nothing to do with income. It's going to be based on your age, how many drivers, all the drivers, and then
drivers in the household, and your age and your driving record. Okay. So obviously, if Billy Wolf comes to us with 2 DUIs, his personal umbrella policy is going to be expensive compared to Billy Wolf, who comes to us and says, my wife and I have 0 tickets. We're 70 years old. We don't have a bad driving history. Right. It's going to be about $120 to $140 a year.
Hang on a second. For $1 million umbrella policy?
Yes. And
did you just say 125, maybe 140 a year, roughly?
Yes.
Okay, now, of course, remember that age, driving record, all that kind of plays in the part here, folks, so keep that in mind.
We did 3 of them last week, and they were all under $150 in our office.
A year.
And that covered all the cars. It covers the home. It covers, four-wheelers, boats, campers. Liability is so cheap to buy and so just reckless. It's so reckless. I mean, it's just because if you get in we drive our cars every day. We live in our house every day. If you injure someone today, the first thing is a lawsuit. You worry about it.
Yeah.
I mean, and I've had, I say this, it's not something I'm proud of, but probably once every 18 months, one of my customers gets in a fatal accident. And in a fatal, I mean death. And sometimes it's my customer losing their life, and sometimes it's my customer inadvertently killing someone.
Yeah.
And those lawsuits, you have to hire attorneys, you have to have settlements, you have to have court times. Do you want to pay for that, or would you rather just brought an umbrella for $140 a year?
Yeah.
I mean, just spend $140, and then when it happens, it's like, well, I have, like Angela said, it's the underlining coverage of $250 plus another $1 million. So if you have $1.25 in a blank check sitting there waiting, you feel a whole lot better about your protection rather than saying, oh, I have $100,000. Mm-hmm. And I've unfortunately been in the business long enough to know I've had it happen with my own clients. They come in and say, this is what happened. Oh, no, Jay, what's my coverage? You're covered for $100,000.
Yeah.
And that's a bad feeling because I didn't push them enough, maybe educate them enough. So you have to take part responsibility as an agent too. And that's why I baffled at people buying from a cubicle. Call USA or call really. And this guy in a cubicle in New Jersey or India or wherever he is, he's going to give you
or the
financial
Army
advice.
officer on TV.
Yeah.
Nice 4-star general there, whatever, Chief.
I mean, it's just, or Shaquille O'Neal, I'm sure they're really going to ask you the personal, important questions, and that's what's just such a battle today. I mean, it's just a battle. We've really taken a strong stance on this is our agency culture, and we're proud of it, and we're going to stand up to those that are against it. And not that there's anything wrong with their model, but we're going to let people know there's a difference.
For sure.
And consulting is the difference. And this is why you want to consult, because people don't think of these things happening. Auto insurance, Billy, how many people don't drive down the road with a trailer?
Oh, wow, yeah.
Camper, boat. Okay? You're driving down the road with a boat, and you didn't quite hitch it up right.
It's happened.
And it becomes detached.
I watch those videos and I laugh hysterically, but that could be me someday.
Yeah. You notice the commercials show it being funny.
Mm-hmm.
They never show the result of someone was killed, someone lost their mom, someone lost their wife, and now there's a lawsuit. They don't show that. They show, oh, it's funny, haha, this happened. No, it's really not.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not to me. And so get the right coverage, and if nothing else from this show, you kind of say, hey, maybe I should go talk to my person. I should go talk to my representative and see, do I have all the coverages I need? Most people don't want to come in, Billy, and say, hey, I want to sit down. I want to tell you what I'm worth, and so I make sure to get my coverages right. We live in a humble state of Nebraska.
Yeah.
But it might be a good idea to come in and say, hey, I heard on the radio show, I was thinking maybe we should talk.
And I think you should with Insurance 365. Give them a call, 371-3136. Set up a time. On the web, insuranceagency365.com. They're on South 13th Street in Norfolk, right across from Burger King, Applebee's, right there. Angela, another quick question here for you. With the umbrella policies, can you go more than $1 million?
You can. It's just going to cost you a little bit more.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah,
but
absolutely.
that's a yearly cost.
Correct. Yeah.
For 140, whatever it was Jay said for $1 million umbrella policy, I'm like, hello.
The only time they get expensive is when you have teenage drivers, and you can understand why. So when I had my teenage drivers in my house, my umbrella was like $350, but I had 2 teenage drivers.
Yeah.
So it was my wife, 2 teenage drivers. The risk of using that is higher, so they charge accordingly. So it doubles. And the second they leave the house, you inherit an in-law, and your insurance goes down as a dad. It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, right. Now the kids are gone, but everyone else is moving in. That's great. Love it. But the trailers and stuff, the cargo trailers, the boats, campers, whatever it may be, are those items covered on your auto policy too, or is that separate, Angela?
Well, it depends on which company. Each company is going to be a little bit different, so it's hard to give you a direct answer on that. Some are covered on your homeowners. It'll extend coverage, and some aren't. So we just have to advise how each company works.
And does liability extend, or is it comp and collision?
What could it be?
What? Yeah, exactly.
That's why you got to talk with somebody like Jay and Angela
Yes.
at Insurance 365.
Some people say, I bought a trailer. I never thought of calling you. Well, today's trailers, I mean, Billy, you see those trailers going down the road. They're $14,000, $15,000. Those enclosed white trailers.
Yep.
They're $14,000, $15,000, $20,000. Well, I thought it'd be covered. Under what? And I'll get the answer, I thought it'd be covered under my home. Next person says, well, I thought it'd be covered from my pickup. Verify.
Yeah. And talk with the folks and figure out what companies are covering what. And all you got to do is stop into Insurance 365. Again, 13th Street in Norfolk. Give them a call, 371-3136. Check the web, insuranceagency365.com. Angela Cradaville, anything else today?
I think we covered most. Just give us a call if you have questions. That's what we're here for.
Jay Kenobi, anything else?
Hey, I like that guy, Billy Wolf. He does a pretty good show. Jeffrey, you're on the hot seat.
That's right. Third Saturday every month here on WJG, we talk about your retirement. And, of course, this is for all ages, too, what we cover today, especially the insurance, whether it's your home, your vehicle, coverage of anything else, umbrella policies. This is for anybody, all ages. All ages are welcome at Insurance 365. Stop by or give them a call today. Your retirement with Insurance 365. Thank you so much, guys.
You're welcome.
Guys.
You're welcome.
Guys.